Hello everyone. Hello my dear students. I really miss you all. Today we're going to work with Cambridge Primary English Learners Book 1 and we're going to discuss Unit 8 Part 2 Things that have happened. But before going any further, don't forget to press like and to subscribe to my channel. Okay, let's look at page 127 of Unit 8, Our Healthy Week. In this book, we will tell you how my sister and I kept fit and healthy last week. Okay, so here we have two children and they are going to talk about keeping fit and healthy, but they are going to tell you this in the past because they said here last week. And there's something very nice and very polite to use when we're talking about yourself and someone else. So the boy said my sister and I. So whenever you're talking about yourself and another person, you have to begin with the other person first. So like my sister and I, my mom and I, my dad and I, my brother and I. Okay, so let's move on. We did lots of things to keep fit and healthy. When we woke up in the morning, we washed. We brushed our teeth too. Then we ate breakfast so that we had energy for the day. In the day, I drank water and I nibbled the fruit. In the day, I drank water too and I snacked on vegetables. I played outside with my friends in the park. That made me tired, but it was fun. I played football with my friends and we ran very fast. At the end of the day, at the end of each day, we went to bed. We got lots of sleep. We had a healthy week. Did you? Okay. So let's look again at the text, and you can notice here that we have two different colors. So we have the boys' words and the girls' words. So maybe the words that are written in blue are the boys' words, and the words that are written in red are the girls' words. And that's easy to tell. Okay, now what do we have here in this page, as you can see, is called a recount. So what do we mean by the word recount? The word recount means to tell. So it tells about real things that happened in the past. So again, what we have here, this text is called a recount. What do you mean by the word recount? It means to tell. So it tells about something fiction? No. It tells about real things that happened when? In the past. Very good. Okay, so do you think it looks like a diary? Yeah, it is like keeping a diary, but it doesn't use the days of the week. It doesn't use the days of the week. So a recount looks like a diary, but it doesn't use the days of the week. And as you can see here, we have two common words in this recount, and these two words are the word I and the word we. The word I and the word we. Okay, that's very good. So now we're going to play a game. This game is called Verb Spotters. So you are going to be verb spotters now. As I told you, a recount is telling you about real things that happened when in the past. So all the verbs that we are going to find here are going to be in the past. So we are going to be verb spotters. First of all, we are going to underline all the past verbs that end with ed. Okay, let's check this. Let's read and underline past verbs with ed. In this book, we will tell you how my sister and I kept fit and healthy last week. We did lots of things to keep fit and healthy. When we woke up in the morning, we washed. Very good. Washed. So underline washed. We brushed, as you can see in the picture. Okay, so we're going to underline the verb brushed. Then we ate breakfast so that we had energy for the day. In the day, I drank water and I nibbled, I chewed, I ate fruit. In the day, I drank water too, I snacked. So I'm going to underline it. On vegetables, I played. So we're going to underline played outside with my friends in the park. That made me tired, but it was fun. I played football with my friends and we ran very fast. At the end of each day, we went to bed. We got lots of sleep. We had a healthy week. Did you? So, as a verb spotter, we spotted all the verbs in the past with ed. Now, we're going to do something different, but we are still verb spotters. We're going to spot all the verbs in the past that don't have ed, and we call them irregular verbs. Let's read again. Our healthy week. In this book, we will tell you how my sister and I kept fit. So kept is the first past verb that doesn't have an ed at the end. Kept fit and healthy last week. We did. So again we have did. So please circle these verbs in your book. We did lots of things to keep fit and healthy. When we woke up, so we're going to circle woke up. When we woke up in the morning, we washed. We brushed our teeth too. Then we ate. So we're going to circle ate. Breakfast, so that we had energy for the day. In the day, I drank. So I'm going to circle drank. This is a past verb that doesn't have an ed at the end. Drank water and nibbled fruit. In the day, I drank. So we have drank again. So we're going to circle it. Water too, and I snacked on vegetables. I played outside with my friends in the park. That made me tired, but it was, so we're going to circle was fun. I played football with my friends and we ran very fast. Yeah, very good. I can hear you saying the word ran. At the end of each day, we went to bed. Where is the past verb here that doesn't have ed at the end? Very good. It is the verb went. We got lots of sleep. So where is the past verb here in this sentence? Excellent. It's got. We had a healthy week. Did you? So we have kept, did, woke up, ate, drank, was, ran, went, got. So now let's have this list of verbs here. We have the present verb and the past verb. So kept is the past of keep. So we have keep, kept, keep, kept. Went is the past of go. So we have go, went, go, went. Was is the past of is or am. So we have am or is in the past, they become was. Where is the past of are. So we have are becomes where in the past. Drank, drank is the past of the verb drink. So drink, drank, drink, drank. Did, and we discussed that before in part 1. And we said that whenever we see did in a question, it means that we are talking about the past and we need to put a past verb in the answer. So did is the past of the verb do. So we have do, did. Had is the past of the verb have or has. So has, had, have, had. Ate, which is pronounced as number 8, we pronounce it like 8, like number 8, is the past verb of eat. So we have eat, ate, eat, ate. Ran is the past of the verb run. So we have run, ran. Made is the past verb of make. Made is the past verb of make. So we have make, made, make, made. Got, got. Got is the past verb of the past form of the verb get. So we have get, got. Let's read them again. Keep, kept. Go, went. Is, was. Are, were. Drink, drank. Do, did. Have, had. Eat, ate. Run, ran. Make, made. Make, made. Get, got. Get, got. So let me tell you again. So what is the title of this recount? The title of this recount is about our healthy week, and in part 1 we talked about how can you keep fit and healthy and what are the things that you have to do to keep fit and healthy. So this is a recount that tells about how to keep fit and healthy in the past. Okay? And whenever you are writing a recount, we have some language features that we need to take care of here. What are the language features that we need to take care of here? Number 1, the recount has to begin with something that is called a beginning or an introduction. a beginning or an introduction. So in the beginning or an introduction, he is telling you what are you going to read about. So this is called a beginning or an introduction. So the introduction here is in this book we will tell you. So he is telling you what you are going to read about. We will tell you. What are you going to tell me about? How my sister and I kept fit. So he is going to tell you about keeping fit and healthy last week. So this is called an introduction, a beginning. Why do we use an introduction or a beginning? We use it to tell you what you are going to read about. And also another language feature that we can notice here in this recount is the last part. And the last part is called an ending. So here we have an ending. And it's very nice to end your recount with a question that makes you think of an answer. So we had a healthy week. We had a healthy week. This is an ending. But before leaving you, he's going to ask you a question. Did you? So you need to think about something here. So when we finish our recount with a question, we make it like a strong ending. So another language feature here is the verbs. So all the verbs are in the past. And also we can take care of the time order here. How? So in the first part, he was telling you that about the things that they did in the morning, and then the things that they did during the day, and at the very end they told you about the end of the day and what did they do at the end of the day. So this is called the time order. So here on this recount we have 4 language features. What are they? The language features that we are going to talk about here are: number 1, an introduction or a beginning. An introduction or a beginning. So here we have an introduction or a beginning. And let me repeat again, what do we use this introduction for? We use this introduction to tell you what you are going to read about. Number 2, another language feature that we can find in this recount is an ending. So you need to end your recount. You need to write an ending sentence. And it's very nice to end your recount with a question, because ending your recount with a question make it a strong ending, as he's going to leave a question for you to think about. The third language feature that we can notice here in this recount is the time order. And as I told you, in the first part they talked about the things that they did in the morning, and then they talked about the things that they did during the day, and at the very end they told you about the things that they did at the end of the day. So time order is very important. Number 4 is the verbs, and all the verbs were in the past. And you are my best verb spotter here, because you spotted all the past verbs that we have here. So here we had 2 types of verbs. We have the regular verbs with ed and the irregular verbs that don't have ed. So all the verbs here are in the past. Okay? Now, let's open page 128 of the same unit. I want you to look at the picture here. What is the boy doing here? The boy is brushing his teeth. The girl is having breakfast. And the boy is sleeping. So, let's read number 5, exercise A. Read each question, say each answer, then write it. So, we're going to read the questions. Here we have 3 questions. We're going to read them and write the answers here in this space or beside them if you have enough space, but don't forget to draw a line and write on the line, okay? And kindly write neatly on the line. So the first question is, what did they do every morning? So here we have again did, and I told you before that whenever we have did, we have to put the verb in the past. So every morning they brushed their teeth. Why did they eat breakfast? What do you think? Why did they eat breakfast? Why do we eat in general? Yeah, to give us energy. Okay. Why did they sleep a lot? Why did they sleep a lot? So they slept a lot because they want to be fit and healthy. Okay, let's have the answers. Here are the answers. Number 1, they washed and brushed their teeth every morning. So in the first picture, the boy is brushing his teeth. So they washed in the past and brushed their teeth, also brushed in the past their teeth every morning. Question number 2, they ate, like number 8, or had breakfast. Why? To give them energy. So they had breakfast to give them energy. Number 3, they slept a lot because they were tired, or we can say that, as I told you, they slept a lot because they want to keep fit and healthy, or to rest. So they slept a lot because they were tired. They slept a lot to keep fit and healthy. They slept a lot to rest. So you have 3 different answers. Just take the one that you like. Okay, let's go to exercise letter B of number 5. Read the beginning of our healthy week. And as I told you before, we have 4 features of any recount. What is the word recount means? The word recount means to tell. And in the recount, we can find 4 language features. Number 1, the beginning or the introduction. So here we have the beginning. Let's read the beginning again. In this book, we will tell you how we kept fit and healthy last week. So this is the beginning of our recount. So the beginning tells you what the book is about. So it tells you what you are going to read about, what you will find in the book. Keeping fit and healthy. So you are going to read about the boy and the girl who kept fit and healthy last week. It was an introduction. So we call it introduction or beginning. Introduction or beginning. So, do you remember the second language feature I told you about after the beginning or the introduction? Yes, any recount should have an ending. So here we have the ending part. Read the ending of our healthy week again. We had a healthy week. This was the ending sentence. And after the ending sentence, we had a question. Did you? Did you? Which means what about you? So this ending is a strong, yes, it's a strong ending. Yeah, it's a strong ending sentence to tell us what we have read about. It sums up, it summarizes what you read up. So it sums up what happened and this asks us a question. It makes us think about an answer. Okay, look in some other books to find beginning and ending like this. So if you really have a book, you have to look at the first page and at the last page of the book to find beginning or introduction and an ending. So we have beginning or introduction and ending. So we have to end with a strong sentence. Strong sentence. Why? To tell the reader what he or she have read about. Okay. Now let's look at page 129. Use these words to make up an introduction. So this is your turn. You are going to write an introduction for a book. So do you remember the sentence that we used in the introduction? Yes. In this book. So he is introducing the topic of the book to the reader. So in my book, or in this book, I will tell you about. So he is going to let you know what he's going to talk about in the book. Okay, so before writing anything, let's have our friend here, the ducky. Hello, ducky, how are you? I'm fine. So, ducky, what do you have here? I have a beginning of a recount. Okay, let's read your beginning, ducky. Okay. In my book, I will tell you about when I lost my mom swimming one day. I had a sad time. I didn't like being lost. Oh, I'm sorry for you, ducky. Okay, let's go back here. We have some verbs and pattern that we can use. And here we have another pattern to complete your sentence. So I will give you my answer like the ducky. So in my book, I will tell you about when I kept my first pet. So I will tell you about when I kept my first pet. And after telling me, tell me about how did you feel about this time. I had an exciting time. Why? Because I like keeping pets. Okay, so we are going to use this pattern and this pattern to make sentences. And I will give you some suggested answers. Here we have our suggested answers. Let's read them together. So, in my book, I will tell you about when I went to my friend's house. I had a great time. In my book, I will tell you about when I kept falling off my bike. It was a sad time. In my book, I will tell you about when I sailed with my dad on the sea. It was an exciting time. In my book, I will tell you about when I visited my uncle in Granda. I had a boring time. In my book, I will tell you about when I played alone all day. I had a boring time. In my book, I will tell you about when I ate too much at a party. I had a hard time. Yeah, I think that he felt so sick because he ate too much. It's not good to eat too much. In my book, I will tell you about when I laughed at a clown. I had a funny time. So here we have lots of sentences to tell you about your introduction. Okay, so let's move to exercise letter D. Find all the verbs in our healthy week. So in our healthy week, the recount of our healthy week, we played the game of verb spotters. And you were the best spotters I have ever worked with, because you spotted all the regular and irregular verbs. So what are the regular verbs? The regular verbs are the past verbs with ed. What are the irregular verbs? They are the verbs that are in the past but don't have ed at the end. So he is asking you here to write them in your notebook. Hello, Ducky, what do you have here? Ducky is telling you that all the verbs are in the past. Yes, they are in the past tense. They tell you about things that happened last week. Yes, Ducky, we know, because they were telling us about our healthy week, or they were telling us about what they did last week to keep fit and healthy. Okay, so let's look at the verbs. We have here kept, did, walk. So my question is, are they regular verbs or irregular verbs? What do you think? And can you remember so many other verbs? I want you now to pause the video and to try to write the verbs that you remember from the text. Okay? And you have to think if these verbs are regular or irregular. Okay? Are you ready to know now? Here is my answer. Very good. They are irregular verbs. They don't have ed at the very end. So we have kept, did, walk, ate, drank, ran, went, had, got. They are all the verbs that we spotted in the recount. So try to write a sentence using each verb like this. He's giving you 2 examples and he wants you to write more sentences. So let's read the sentences using the past verb. I kept happy all week. I did lots of fun things with my friends. So now I want you again to pause the video. Try to use these verbs to write more sentences, maybe 3 or 4 more sentences using these verbs in the past. Okay? Are you ready now to know my answer? Okay. So I wrote, I ran in the garden a week ago. I had a great time at the zoo yesterday. We ate pizza last Friday. So here we have again 3 more sentences. And we used past verbs. Okay? Now, let's look here. Our healthy week is a recount text. Recount text. Yes, of course. Of course, we know what is a recount text. So let's highlight it again. It's a recount. What do we mean by the word recount? The word recount means to tell. And in the recount, we have 4 main language features. What are they? The recount should have an introduction or a beginning. A recount should have an ending. All the verbs should be in the past. And we need to use time order. The recount is like a diary, but it doesn't use the days of the week and the most common words that we use in a recount are I and we. Okay, so it tells us about real things that happened in the past. Again, what is a recount? A recount means to tell, and it tells us about real things that happened in the past. Yes, we know. So look at the text again and say yes or no to the question below. So let's check. Number 1. Does it tell us about real things that happened? Does a recount tell you about real things that happened? What do you think? Yes, of course. It tells about real things. Yes, it tells about real things. Number 2. Are the things that happened in time order? Did we use time order? Did the boy and the girl started by telling you what happened in the morning and then what happened during the day, and then they told you what they did at the end of the day in a time order? What do you think? Yes, very good. Number 3. Is it about things that happened in the past? Did we use past verbs? Do you remember? Yes, very good. Yes, we use the past verbs. Does it use verbs in the past? Yes, of course. Does it use the word I and we, or the word he, she, and it? Yes, it used the word I and we. Yes, it used the word I and we. So we're going to write yes, it used the I and we. Okay. Number 6, does it have a helpful beginning or an introduction? Of course, yes. It has a beginning or an introduction that was very helpful. How a beginning or an introduction can be helpful? Because it tells us what we are going to read about. Because it tells us what we are going to read about. So using an introduction or a beginning is very helpful. Number 7, does it have a strong ending? What do you think? Yes. We had a strong ending in the recount that we read. Why? Because the last sentence was telling us about all the things that we was reading, like it was like doing like summing up what happened in the recount. And it was also strong and very good because it had a question at the end that let you think of an answer. Okay, now let's look at exercise letter B. Imagine you are in each picture. Will you use I or we? Are you going to use I or we? Yes or no? What do you think? Okay, so of course, yes, I'm going to use I or we. So in the first picture, I will use I, we, I, we. Now, exercise letter C. We're going to have two stories. Story 1, which is here, and story 2 in the next page. And each story will have a group of pictures. And we need to write about these pictures. What do we need to write about them? We need to write a sentence for each picture. So, how many stories are we going to write about? We are going to have 2 different stories. Story 1 and story 2. So, what are we going to do in each story? In story 1, we are going to write a sentence for each picture. What about story 2? In story 2, we are going also to have a group of pictures here, and we are going to write a sentence about each picture here. Okay, here he's going to help you. So these sentences will help you put them in the right order for each story. So for story number 1, this is story about the boy in the garden, in the bathroom, washing, about sleep and sleeping. So this is story number 1. So, got into bed and slept. I brushed my teeth. I played outside. I had a story. I had my bath. It was a tiring day. So what do we need to do here? We need to read these sentences and to put them in the right order. So you need to write the right order beside each sentence. So you're going to write the numbers. Which one is number 1, which one is number 2, and so on. Okay? So in story number 2, we have again group of pictures. I want you to read the sentences and to arrange them according to the pictures. So in the first picture, what happened? In the first picture, I walked up. In the second picture, what happened? What did she do? What do you think? What do you think in the first picture? So, in the second picture, did she got dressed? Did she put on her coat? Did she feed the duck? Did she had breakfast? Did she walk up? Okay, yes, very good. She got dressed. Picture number 3. What did she do? Yeah, in picture number 3, I had my breakfast. So we're going to write 3 here. Picture number 4. What do you think she's doing here? Yes, very good. I put on my coat. Excellent. Look at picture number 5. What do you think? Okay. Excellent. I fed the ducks. So I woke up. I got dressed. I had my breakfast. I fed the ducks. Yeah, very good. So here we have exercise 7, and this is the part that we're going to talk about in part 3 of our unit. And in part 3 we're going to talk about day out and the places that you are going to visit while having a day out. Okay, so he's asking you to write which day out looks best. Where do you like to go out for a day out? Say and write your answer. So some people are going to say that we like to go to the fun park. Maybe we like to go to the mall. We like to go to the garden and have a picnic. Or we like to go to the beach. So tell me, where do you like to go for a day out? Okay, this is the end of part 2. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to press like and to subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much and goodbye.